Hey besties, catch you at the after party. After the after party, that is. Hi Ugly, it's me, Bussy, and welcome back to Hot or Rot. And today we'll be reviewing episode 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 7. In this week's episode, our winners are split into 2 teams and challenged to improv their way through courtroom reimaginations of popular children's fairy tales. They basically acted out parodies of Judge Judy, you know, RuPaul's favorite show. And the runway category was Spikes. And this episode's guest judge was Jeffrey Boyer Chapman, marking his first re-entry into the franchise since he left Canada's Drag Race. And we've also got a little bit of drama to cover at the end of today's video between the Queen of Reveals from Canada's Drag Race Season 2, Eve 6000, and Alaska 5000. So we'll be breaking all of that down as we rank our queens from raddest rat to hottest hot, with 5 hot flames potentially awarded for each their challenge and runway. And hasn't this season just been lovely? And All-Star 7 has left me pretty gooped and gagged so far, but so is my skin over the past 6 months that I've been using Curology, the sponsor of today's video. So I'd say I've been blessed with fairly clear skin, but I've always battled with breakouts, oiliness, and cystic acne even into adulthood. And combine all that with doing drag? Talk about a bumpy ride. But thanks to Curology's simple 3-step process, I've found a consistency and predictability in my skin. In the morning and night, I use Curology's pH balance cleanser and moisturizer, leaving my skin with a beautifully smooth finish. And at night, I apply my custom Curology formula made just for me by a Curology skincare provider. I first noticed my breakouts were less frequent and severe after a couple of weeks, and my friends and family started commenting on the quality of my skin after a couple of months. I've also noticed improvements in my skin's fine lines and the texture and tone of my temples where I've got acne scarring from my teens. But of course, your results may vary. Curology is not a miracle working product, but the level of consistency it's brought to my skin is truly invaluable. Plus, if I ever notice anything trying to sneak up on me, I just pull out my secret weapon, the Curology Emergency Spot Patch, and it's gone in a flash. And you can sign up for Curology by clicking the link in the description of my video. On their site, you'll take a quick quiz to assess your skincare needs and then submit 3 selfies. A skincare provider will take a look and then create a custom formula made just for you. And you can sign up for Curology by clicking the link in the description of my video. You'll get your first month of Curology for free. Just pay $5 for shipping and handling. I love Curology, and I know you will too. Thanks Curology for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get this party started. First up and at the bottom of my list tonight is Monét Exchange. Her fairy tale character in the courtroom was Hamela Anderson. And I think the biggest mistake that she made on her team was coming into the courtroom last after Yvie and Jinkx gave really good performances, but we'll touch on them later. And she definitely had some positive moments like snortling in the affirmative when Michelle asked her a question because her character was supposed to be one of the 3 little pigs. But at the same time, when you're snorting to answer a question, you kind of miss out on the opportunity to tell a joke or extend the narrative in your favor. Instead of giving the improv yes and, she just gave the improv Anywho, this little piggy did not make it all the way home. I'm gonna give this performance a rat. And over on the runway, Monét's interpretation of Spikes gave us this kind of punk rock business executive realness in a post-apocalyptic world fantasy. It reminded me a little bit of the red quilted look that she wore actually back on season 10. She's got 2 suit blazers deconstructed and then sewn together on each side. And the combinations of these blazers are being held together by chains, which I think are really pretty. The spike details are great. And I loved the Monét Exchange written on the back of the coat. I think the only issue with this look that I had was I don't think the shoes or the mask that she's wearing match the outfit at all. And actually, when she took off the mask later, I was like, oh my god, she's so freaking pretty. Why is she hiding that gorgeous mug? And that mohawk was stunning. This could have been a really solid look, but I was too distracted by the unneeded accessories, so this look is gonna be a rat. Next up, it's our favorite mama bear, Halle Beary. In the courtroom, Shea was one of our plaintiffs, making complaints about Goldilocks, played by the Vivienne, who broke into her home and ate all of her porridge. And the thing is, what Shea did in this challenge definitely was not bad. I think her biggest problem was really just letting herself get so overshadowed by everyone else on her team, because we heard her start off, but then completely faded into the background. And she could have used that as an opportunity to turn into like full grizzly bear mode, switching from goody two-shoes to, you know, ravage, wild bear gonna eat Goldilocks or something. So while this mama bear was a little demure, I do think that she had a fully realized character. She just didn't take all the opportunities she could have. So I'm gonna leave her challenge performance at a warming up. And over on the runway, she says she is giving us Slew Martian Eleganza. And I really, really, really wanted to like this. I think the vision she had for this look was really cool. The different tones of blue, the holographic, the more matte latex at the bottom, and the pieciness are all really interesting ideas. But there's just so much going on with this look. Had this maybe been just like a top piece and a bottom piece connected with some straps, it maybe could have been sold a little more effectively. And I also think that her interpretation of the category as a whole was a little weak. The spike components that she seems to integrate into this look, I think look a little more like cattails, like you would see in a marsh or something. I think this gown just needed a little bit of editing, so I'm gonna leave this look on Planet Rat. Next up, ow, oh, ow, ow. It's Yvie Oddly, and her character in the courtroom was the Big Bad Wolf, or BB for short. If you know, you know. This character was essentially Yvie Oddly's boogeyman from Snatch Game 2.0. In one sense, I can 100% understand the mindset of being like, okay, the judges think this is funny, I'm gonna stick with what I know I can deliver. At the same time, I do think maybe had she challenged herself and pushed a little further, she could have even secured the win. And while the Big Bad Wolf being kind of a player among piggies was creative and fun in and of itself, I don't think the character that she brought to the courtroom had enough depth other than just kind of being a playboy. This was a solid performance for Yvie though, and I think she absolutely deserves a hot for this challenge. On the runway, she comes out in this reptilian, alien, bug praying mantis, almost kind of fantasy. She's walking on point with the assistance of these giant spike arm pieces down the runway. She's got little reptilian pieces on her back and a little headpiece. And I will say this certainly is a unique and visually interesting look for this category. I think the only issue with this look that I had was it is missing a little bit of polish for an all-winners runway, and this is no fault to her. It's just that we saw almost this exact look on Drag Race Spain Season 2 from Onyx. Again, there would have been no way for Yvie to know about this runway considering they filmed this probably around the same time, but I did immediately think of Onyx's and go, oh, okay. So I'm gonna leave this look at a rat. And next up, which Theresa? This one. Trinity played the character Witch Theresa, which they Which, do you guys want a sandwich? I want a sandwich, I'm hungry. She played the character Witch Theresa, who was essentially, I think, supposed to be the witch from Hansel and Gretel. The other gag that they somehow worked into this was that she's wearing the exact same hair and outfit as Michelle Visage, and I think they were supposed to be sisters or lovers or twins or something, or maybe all of the above. Anywho, she comes in as a surprise witness at the last minute to testify on the side of Raja and Shea's characters. And this is how you make an entrance into a fake improv fairy tale justice courtroom. And I think had she been in the courtroom any longer, she could have even secured a top spot. So in the main challenge, Trinity gets a hot. And over on the runway, the Countess is here. This look, conceptually, I think 10 out of 10. Oh my god, it's amazing. Like, the details of having the candelabra, because she just crawled out of a little vampiric hole. The stained glass window as the train at the back of the outfit. The prosthetic red liquid dripping over the stake that's through her entire body and literally coming out both sides. There are lots of great details here. My only issues with this look and why it didn't end up near the top of my list tonight was because there's so much going on. There is a lot to look at. And because there's so much going on, the silhouette that she ends up serving is a little bit confusing and mysterious, maybe intentionally so, I'm not sure, but this look is awesome and I'm gonna give it 3 hot flames tonight. Next up, RuPaul says that we're witnessing her rebirth, but it's still not good enough for a win. It's Raja. Her character in the fairy tale courtroom is Gwendolyn Constance Periwinkle Hood, who is essentially Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother. And at first I was thinking, oh, this is kind of a safe pick for Raja. This is probably something she's really comfortable doing. I mean, we did just see her do essentially 2 old characters for Snatch Game. But I've got to say, her performance as the grandma was solid from start to finish. Fully characterized, realized, and she, knew details about the daughter, herself, and had these fun little moments when, like, for example, she left the courtroom and was talking to Nosferatu RuPaul and looks at the camera and goes, "Hi, Mom." This performance was over the river and through the woods. And for Raj's spiky runway, we get this sort of warrior goddess, with the spikes being found on the armor, pieces that she's wearing on her shoulders, head, and the mace that she is carrying down the runway. The only reason that this didn't rank higher for me tonight, though, was like a lot of the queens tonight, actually. I just thought there was a lot going on. And the bottom armor piece that she was wearing was kind of giving Bedazzled's diaper, which I'm not sure if that was supposed to be an intentionally campy thing that she was doing, or if it was just not fitting where it should have fit. Otherwise, I loved the color story. I thought she served it beautifully and was 100% giving something unique, gorgeous, and branded as Raja. So I'm gonna give this look a hot. Next up, the last of our little piggies tonight, Jaida Essence Hall. She played the character of Twigley in the fairy tale courtroom, who is Jinkx's more foul-mouthed sister. And oh my god, she has on a pig nose prosthetic and still looks so freaking gorgeous. And you know, I think Jaida did an excellent job tonight of both complimenting and meeting Jinkx where she was at, and then also serving a little bit as her opposite in the moments she needed to. And she gave one of my favorite moments of the entire improv skit when Michelle asked her to watch her mouth, and she came back with even more cuss words. This little piggy definitely went all the way to market. This performance was hot. And over on the runway, Jaida is giving us a beautiful homage to one of the most, I think, interesting people to ever grace Jones this planet, both inside and out. She gave us a fully realized conceptual makeup with a great reference and brought it into this runway category. And overall, I've got to say, I have been loving the edgier side of Jaida that we've been seeing in this all-winter season. I guess I always just kind of thought she was more in that pretty, polished, pageantry kind of world, but girl, the Matrix is not glitching. This is our new reality, and I'm absolutely living. This look is so hot. Also, I have been living for Jaida's confessionals. She is just absolutely giving comedy gold every single opportunity that she can. You know, like when she was taking tahini shots. She might be onto something. Oh god, sour. Next up, how about a 2-in-1, possibly 3 or 4? I don't even know how many characters the Vivienne was doing in the courtroom, but she hit Goldilocks, Hansel and Gretel, and Little Red Riding Hood for sure, with also some of her own invention mixed in there, I think. And her performance as this character was dynamic, interesting, and also very deadpan. Very British. Like she was subverting the characters at any opportunity she could, because you're kind of sitting there like, where's the punchline? And you're like, oh, like she is the punchline over and over and over. And I think most importantly, she did a great job of driving the narrative in her improv skit. There was a lot in Viv's basket for this challenge, and overall I was really happy to see her reprise her role as the excellent actress that we know she is. This performance was hot. And over on the runway, she is giving us Catwoman, the Squeal Quill. This look caught me so off guard because I was like, oh my god, Shea just did this like a week ago. Luckily though, the looks are very different, even though they have the same base reference. Vivienne's though, oh my god. It was probably the most stunning look on the runway tonight. It was so clean, crisp, and I loved that baby blue color contrasted with all those gold spikes. I was also laughing because every time she comes down the runway, she is telling us that she is serving Vivienne Westwood, and I love that for her. But yeah, I have zero complaints about this look, and in fact, I'd love another serving. This look is hot. That was me being a cat, if you didn't catch that one. Oh my god, I feel crazy. Next up, Jinkx Monsoon playing our first little piggy in the courtroom named Spare Rib, but the A is an at and the E is a 3, and she was very much giving influencer fantasy, but modern influencer who is also doing, you know, only hams, and there were so many details built into this character, and Jinkx just has this mind when she approaches comedy that she is looking for every single opportunity she can to have a joke. When she comes into the courtroom, she's trying to close the door. It's like bouncing, she can't close it. She's like 2 or 3 times. The ear falls off when she's talking to RuPaul after she leaves the courtroom. She makes a joke about how she can only hear half as much. I mean, she's just a master at this type of thing. I'm gagged. I'm gooped at what she did here. Jinkx is somebody I could watch brush her teeth and would probably still enjoy that as a performance. This was hot. And on the runway, she wore brown velvet. Now you know why I don't sing. This look is exquisite and very clean. And I think that because Jinkx and Vivienne's looks were so clean tonight, they were very easy to look at and digest, while so many of the other queens just had so much going on. Anyways, she says she's giving us Norma Desmond meets Cruella de Vil, but she made the outfit out of porcupine instead of Dalmatian. And I think this is an excellent example of Jinkx both elevating her fashion and still being campy with the details. Everything about this look is on point. It's hot. Overall though, I've got to say this challenge probably wasn't my favorite or even the best measure of the different queens' talents that we have in this cast. Improv is possibly one of the hardest things that you can do, and Snatch Game is also improv. However, Snatch Game is also something that the queens spend, I don't know, weeks, months, maybe even preparing for, because they know it's going to happen, so they bring that character ready to go. This was more of, here's a character on the spot, learn it, make it up, go, do it. Bam, boom, bam, bam, boom, boom, bam. Girl, that's hard. Especially, I think, when you have people that are really good at that type of thing. The Vivienne, Jinkx, Raja, apparently. And I think it can be easy to sort of let those types of personalities in these situations dominate. My other critique of this challenge was I don't think Michelle played a big enough character. She felt very flat. And maybe that was just because, like, for example, Viv and Jinkx and Raja were so big, but I kind of wanted a more aggressive judge, like a full Judge Judy fantasy, like Bianca Del Rio or something, screaming at the girls and, I don't know, inciting a little more fights and drama, even though, you know, the first team did give us a little slap bite at the end. Jinkx and the Vivienne end up winning tonight, and Jinkx, because she was blocked, does not collect a star. However, Vivienne gets her first, which means now Raja and Yvie are the only two without any legendary legend stars. And personally, I really wanted to see them give a legendary legend star to Raja tonight. I think she deserved it. And like, because Jinkx was blocked, like, I don't know, why not just give all three of them a win for this one? What's the harm? Plus, you could see Raja was like really feeling some type of way when she asked her if she could stay on stage when she was not announced as a top 2. Maybe they're playing mind games. I don't know. We all know the real winner of tonight's challenge was Officer Cottontail. Oh my god. Girl, the things that he could do to my Cottontail. And concerning the lip sync of our top 2, I did react to this over on my Patreon at patreon.com/BussyQueen. That's my members only website where my Patreon family gets exclusive member benefits like early access to my YouTube videos, access to exclusive videos, access to the Bussy Queen Discord server, and more. And you can join by clicking the link in the description of my video. See you there. But this was, I think, overall a pretty decent lip sync. Vivienne definitely pulled out all the stops. She even had Jaida hand her a tiny little xylophone from the audience, which was that strategy. Miss Jaida coming in. She knew the plunger could have been given basically to her or Monét because they hadn't been blocked yet. And she said, I'm gonna do a little extra for Vivienne tonight, give her the prop, and that way she might think twice about blocking me. I see what Jada's doing, and it's smart. And as far as my hottest tonight on the runway goes to the Vivienne, and the main challenge goes to Jinkx Monsoon. This was a challenge made and written for her. Just a shame she couldn't collect the star for it. And I also asked my patrons to vote on their hottest hots, and this week they chose the Vivienne in the same categories. So concerning the drama of the 5 and 6,000s, a clip of Alaska's show was going viral showing her performing a couple of seconds of audio from Eve 6000's Root School number as seen in her season, which, by the way, has become a bit of a meme online. And Eve saw this and tweeted out, "You don't follow me, you never tagged me, never commented, never liked anything I've posted, never shared my GoFundMe, never said a single thing to support me, but you think it's okay to use my image and voice as a joke for your show. It's punching down at Alaska 5000. And apparently this tweet was enough to get Alaska's attention because she brought it up the next night at another one of her shows, saying this.
But no, I did like this reveal, so I was like, wouldn't it be fierce if we put Eve 6000 going, I gotta check him out, and then I reveal the thing. And then on Twitter this morning, she was like, how dare you? How dare you make fun of me? You're making a mockery of me. I was like, oh my god. And she was like, you don't even follow me on Twitter. And you're using my song and you're out. And she's absolutely right. So because I think she's sickening. I think she's gorgeous.
And like a true professional, wrapped up the topic on a high note by following Eve live on stage and promoting her online presence, saying this.
It's really easy. Go to Twitter, click follow. I'm doing follow.
And she's followed!
But this is the real tea, though. This is the real tea. She's transitioning and she has a GoFundMe, and I want all of us to go on there. I want us to get her to her goal. And also, she has sickening merch, so go on her website and get some merch. I'm gonna get so much merch. We love you, Eve 6000. We love you!
And Eve even later tweeted out that Alaska actually sent a $1,000 donation to Eve's transition funds on GoFundMe, which is linked in the description of this video. I recommend you go check it out. We love a happy ending. And also, quick shout out to Eve and the rest of the cast of Canada's Drag Race Season 2. I feel like a lot of people did overlook their season, but the talent level was truly off the charts. Go watch it. Go give them a watch. Little watchy watch. But as always, I'd love to know what y'all thought in the comments down below. And I want to say thanks today for watching today's video. And I want to give an extra special thanks to today's video sponsor, Curology, who's been keeping my skin consistently clear for over 6 months now. Thank you. And you too can get Curology and get your first month free by clicking the link in the description of this video. Just pay $5 for shipping and handling. I also want to say thanks to my patrons for making my channel possible and give an extra special shout out to Carmine, Roy Kenneth, Cody, Gregory, Renee Fenwick, and Jay Moore, who've all just joined my Patreon at the hot and hottest tiers. And Aiden the Individual, Alessandro 420, Angel, Cyrus, Dark-Sided Otter, David Webb, Dicky, Felicia, Frankie, Hector Simancas, JB, Jeffrey, Joseph, Josh Marchant, Laura, Seth, Louis Labrador, Ruff, Mark James, Matthew Burns, Matthew Bauer, Maxie LaWow, Michelle, Your Bell, Miss F, Neely, Sailor, Steven, Dover, Wheelie, and Will and Tan, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier. See y'all later. Love ya. Bye.